justice and peace and equality.
Game Changers Magazine, Game Changers Media Network, Voices of the Village podcast, where change starts with conversation. We're back with another episode featuring Mr. Adrian Consonery Jr.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Georgia Secretary of State candidate, 2026, man. How you doing?
Doing fantastic.
Great, man. It's great to have you on the show. Who is Adrian Consonery Jr. and tell us why you run?
Well, I'm Adrian Consonery Jr. I'm running for Georgia Secretary of State because I believe in fair elections, making sure they're safe and secure and accessible.
All right.
Unfortunately, I had the experience of having my voice almost be denied.
Wow.
So back in 2020, I was voting in absentee, sent in my absentee ballot as I was a student at Grambling State University.
Okay.
And they said that I had 3 days to come back to the state to prove I was who I said I was, or else they were throwing out my vote.
Wow.
Now, I didn't say this in the beginning, but they challenged me for the primary and the general of that year.
Oh, wow.
And they said that it was because my signatures didn't match.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, I know it was me that signed this.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure that, if you're an absentee, like if you try to get an absentee ballot, it's because you're going to be absent.
Correct.
So, it's just that context clues. I don't know. But they did that, and so I started working in nonpartisan spaces in order to make sure that people's voices were heard all across the country, making sure that there were resources made available so that way they could have their voice be heard, but also so that way you knew how to hold their elected leaders accountable.
Wow.
And so I want to make sure to bring that same type of work ethic into our state government so that way people can trust our state government more than they have in the past.
Man. Now, tell us, what was that experience like? I mean, you had to go through an oppressive state, advocate, young future leader today, advocate for your personal rights, when mainly most young people are saying, hey, I'm going to mom and dad asking for this, but you decided to stand up on your own 2 feet and say, I want to fight. What made you do this, and not only do it for yourself, but mobilize the generation around you?
Well, and I will say this, because I am not better than anybody. Because the first person I called was my mama. I said, Mama! Mama, look at what they doing. Mama, what do I do? I ain't never did this before, Mama.
Right.
So I called them. I'm trying to figure it out. We worked together on making that happen. But of course, the initiative had to come from me understanding there is something wrong here.
Okay.
I remember growing up and going to vote with my parents.
Wow.
And I remember them taking me into the booth with them and them giving me their sticker, and then of course they'd get their own sticker afterwards. By the way, I've been across the country. Georgia has the best voter sticker ever. Like everybody else's voter sticker ain't the same. Louisiana's voter sticker is a crawfish saying that you voted. Ain't nothing beat the peach. I'm sorry, but that's my own thing. But I realized at that moment that if we did not do something now, we would lose the ability later. And so, of course, I didn't want to be directly involved yet in politics. I thought, I might have time before I do something. But let me actually get involved in this nonpartisan field. Let me get involved in this way, in this regard. So I started my own nonprofit called Lifeline Initiative Incorporated. It's actually named after my line name. And I'll talk about that a little later, but it's focused on community development, vocational rehabilitation, and amplifying the voice of the people. And so through that, I became partners with a lot of other nonpartisan organizations. And they have taken me everywhere. You name it, I probably worked with them. And we have always had a fantastic time using joy as our biggest weapon moving forward to get people involved in this type of thing. And so one of the trainings that I was actually able to be a part of which I am forever grateful for, and this is by no means an endorsement. I want to say that if the IRS is listening, this is not an endorsement. Don't try to switch up my words. But the Transformative Justice Coalition has done such a fantastic job of mobilizing Gen Z and millennials around knowing how to be civically engaged in their own communities. And they work in tandem with a plethora of different organizations in order to make that happen. But they go forth into these communities and they let people know what is and what isn't the way that they can get involved. And by showcasing it to us, they train you. And they train you hard.
Yes.
You're filled with knowledge to the brink of almost exploding.
Okay.
And then they take you into the community and they say, you see that person? Go mobilize them. And then you go. You're ready.
Right.
So it's definitely something I thoroughly believe that like getting us involved now is a huge thing.
Awesome, man.
Fresh Communities, facilitating restoration for equitable and sustainable healthy communities, is a grassroots culmination of over 30 years of Black liberation for rural southern Georgia through creative implementation of economic, political, and cultural entities with a strong Black agenda. Our mission is a worldwide coordinated collaborative strategy empowering every individual with information, opportunities, and creative pathways to make healthy life choices and establish a family and cultural legacy. Fresh is the next genesis for Black liberation that combines proven community strategies with new technological approaches that enhances, restores, and sustains our community. Selecting Census Tract 9504 as the initial site for the Black Liberation Demonstration will create and sustain an ecosystem for justice, economic stability, and wealth creation that can be replicated within the region. The Fresh team, through our Justice Initiative, has been totally involved in leading the effort to demand justice. Plans are in place for a community complex at 1200 College Street that will reflect the values and curriculum of the Highlander Center and a FAR 31 business incubator within the hub zone areas. Utilizing the former Atlanta Life building on Ossie Davis Parkway as the Mall of Justice, creating central offices and structure for the local and national Black movements operations, along with the leadership and youth training. Enabling clear choices for liberation by creating an ecosystem for systemic growth with a shopping center to house and a grocery and dollar store that will market products from Black farmers and producers. This ecosystem of a community center increasing income of over 13 million, thusly supporting new housing development and commercial opportunities that are truly enhancing community wealth. A percentage of the profits from the store and contracts will be placed in a community endowment, utilizing a non-direct recognition financial instrument, assuring continued and sustained community growth and wealth.
Okay, who do I call when this situation takes place? Because there's spots for everything to be taken care of in a community. So I'm a firm believer that, like, in the same way of how you have, like, with your car,
right?
You've got certain gears, you've got your timing belt, you've got your spark plug, and they all serve one purpose. But the main purpose is, at the end of the day, it has to equal the car moving forward.
Okay.
So how do we know how each individual part works together?
Right.
Who is my spark plug in my community? Who is my timing belt in my community? How do I get the oil to flow through to make sure things run smoothly in the community?
Okay.
What goes through and has that happen? And so when it comes to thinking like that, education is the only thing that we can't use.
Wow.
So when I think about all of my friends that I grew up with or I went to school with or anything of that nature, we all came together learning about life.
Right.
And unfortunately, I had the misfortune of learning the hard way.
Okay.
We need to be involved now.
Wow.
So how can I get them involved and activated on this type of mindset so that way when we're in our 30s, when the frontal lobe is done developing and we're finally getting to that point, we sit there and we're like, okay, no, I understand this. I get this. Now we can thrive and prosper.
Right.
So that's the biggest thing why education is just so important.
Okay. Now you you graduated from an HBCU university. Tell us what that experience was like and what did you study? Tell us how that looked.
Business management in on itself is the study of people.
Okay.
And people don't always think about it. Like yes, there's a lot of numbers, there is math, but there's also the study of the mentality, the study of sociology. You have to have a basic knowledge of society in order for you to know how to market to it correctly.
Gotcha.
So when I had my time at Grambling is in the middle of nowhere, right? I love that because when I tell people, my school is in Grambling, they're like, okay, well, where is Grambling?
Wow.
It's Grambling. Like Grambling, this is the city.
Right.
So with us being in the middle of nowhere,
you
have to create the reality that you want to live in.
Definitely.
You have to speak it into existence. You've got to put the work in to make it happen.
Okay.
You have to make this your reality.
Right.
So, like, while I was at Grambling, man, I pledged into a non-Greek organization called United African American Men Incorporated, or UAAM for short. I also was a student ambassador, but outside of the school-based things, I started my own pizza business.
Man, get out of here.
Oh man, that's how I paid my rent.
Wow.
Every month, I was making pizza from scratch, selling it out of my
Okay.
apartment, making sure that would take place. I started up my own nonprofit out there.
Okay.
I wrote my second book while I was out there.
Okay.
So there was a lot that took place that Grambling allowed for me to make my own reality.
Okay.
Rather than me having to kind of assimilate to a different city.
Right,
I was
right.
able to make the world that I wanted.
Wow. Man, I mean, you fired up and ready to go. I want to go back to the pizza business, man, because, you know, when it comes down to it, you know, so HBCU universities, right? Right?
Right.
We all know what comes in the territory. What, you know, most HBC universities are in the hood. They're, you know, in underserved communities, most of them, right? What made you make the choice to say, I'm not gonna go this way? Because we know.
Yeah.
If you know, you know. Versus, I'm gonna take this pizza and make a living and pay my rent. Like, what made you make that choice, man? Because that's Grammys. I mean, come on, man.
So I'll be honest with you.
Okay.
At the time, I had a girlfriend,
Okay.
and I loved to cook.
Okay.
So she would love when I would cook for her.
Wow.
And one day she wanted to be all romantic and everything like that. She was like, "Let's make pizzas together."
Wow.
And I was like, "Okay, bet." So we go to Walmart. We're walking around trying to get everything, and she goes and grabs this store-bought dough.
Oh, man.
And I look at it, and I'm like, put that back. You don't even know how long that's been there. You don't know the hands that made it. Like, no. And also let you know, my last name, Consonery.
Okay.
I'm Italian. So you see, it's in the blood.
Okay.
Like, my blood is tomatoes. So, so I'm going, and she's like, what do you mean we got to put this back? I'm like, you don't know how long that's been there. You don't know the yeast they used or anything like that.
Okay.
And I know how to make dough.
Right.
And she was like, I don't believe you, whatever, woo, woo, woo. I get home, I get all the ingredients to make the dough, make it from scratch right there. She's mad because of how long it took.
Okay.
Then she ate the pizza.
Wow.
And she was like, how did you... I'm not mad anymore. I was like,
Right.
I wonder why. And so after that, I was struggling with the job at the time because I wasn't getting enough hours. I'm like, dang, how am I gonna make sure that I'm able to pay my rent completely?
Correct.
And I had one of my friends come through. He tried the pizza and he looked at me and he was like, "You could make another one of these?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "You could do it in like 15?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "How much would you charge me?"
Okay.
I'm like,
Oh man,
I might be able to do something here. So I started making pizza from scratch, and then one of my best friends at the time, Muslim, he didn't
right.
he didn't eat pork.
He didn't eat that pork, yeah.
So he supports every business that I've ever done.
Wow.
So it's like, okay, how can I make sure he's included in this?
Okay.
So I tried making a pizza with turkey pepperoni.
Okay.
And it was the best pizza. And then I made my own sauce.
Okay.
Because I didn't want to have like regular marinara sauce. That's basic.
Right.
How can I be different?
Okay.
So I made my own sauce.
Right.
And it was ratatouille.
Okay.
So I put my own homemade dough, my own homemade sauce, turkey products instead of pork. I now have a completely fundamental pizza that is better from the ground up from whatever commercial pizza joint you could ever see. And I'm selling it at a great price just to pay my rent.
Man, what price are you selling this pizza at, man?
So,
because I mean, you paying the rent, bro.
Oh yeah,
with the pizza. So come on, and you Italian, so we'll thank you with the mob. But I mean, come on, you sure it was pizza, man? How much was the pizza, man?
So every pizza was $7.
Oh wow.
But you could get 2 toppings,
Okay.
and then if you would you would get 1 topping, $7. 2 toppings, you go up to $11, and then it would just go so on and so forth.
Okay.
But where I would make the most of my money would be on Fridays.
Okay.
Fridays, I had Fun Deal Friday, where you could get 2 garlic knots, personal pan pizza, and what I call a slutty brownie.
Right.
For $12.
Okay.
Everybody would take advantage of that deal all the time. I would sell out every day.
And you're on a college campus.
Oh man.
Come on, man.
And I'm telling you, it was a thing where people were like, okay, well, do you deliver? Yeah, I had a Ford Expedition Eddie Bauer at the time. I could do it. Let's go. At 99, it was getting everywhere.
Wow.
So people would order, and they would order through Instagram, or they would call me, and I would just make their order, get it done, send it out to them, and then when everything would sell out, I'd be like, I put it on Instagram. All right, everything's gone, and the rest of the night, I'm making dough for the next day.
Oh man. So now you also mentioned that you wrote your second book. So you're an author as well.
Yes.
Tell us about your walk as being an author. Your first book, your second book. Tell us what made you, grab the pen and paper and say, I want to write, man.
So I have been involved with poetry for a very long time.
Wow.
Poetry for me is actually it's almost therapy.
Okay.
But the first book that I wrote, I was in high school.
Okay.
I was 17 years old. I was, I had a bunch of poems that I had written.
Right.
And then one day I was on the phone with my friends. I had woken up from a nap and I was like, look, I'm finna just do something crazy. And she was like, what you finna do? I was like, just watch.
Wow.
I started at 10 p.m. and I finished at 1 a.m. and I was writing more poems. I was taking the poems that I already had and I was compiling them all into one collection.
Wow.
Finished it at 1 p.m., closed my laptop, went to sleep, woke up the next morning, and I'm talking with my dad before we go to church. I'm like, Dad, I think I wrote a book last night. And he was like, son, get ready for church. I'm not trying to, you trying to stall, so we ain't got to get to the church house. So we go to church, we come back, and he's like, now, what was it that you were saying? And I showed him.
Right.
And then my mom is also looking, and they're like, you really got a book.
You're right. Yeah.
And so we started going through the process of making sure it was not marketed, but formatted correctly, making sure the margins were right. We printed it, and then I have my first book in April of, I want to say it was 2017. Okay. And that was called The Thoughts of the 17-Year-Old Man. Wow. And so that was just, and also I had a good friend of mine, at the time I had an Android, I didn't have,
iPhone.
Yeah. So he went and took the photos for me to go all throughout the book. And then one of the photos, I had a friend of mine who was actually aspiring to be a graphic artist. So he took one of the photos and he made my cover.
Wow.
And then they both did it for free. They were like, we just want to try it. We just want to, we ain't never did anything like this. So I feel like I owe them some royalties now. I might need to call them and be like, hey, come on with me. You might need to call Yes, sir. So that first book came out in 2017, and that was just for fun.
All right.
The second book was more targeted.
Okay.
The second book is way more serious than the first.
Okay.
This one, instead of it just being a collection of thoughts, it's a streamline of thought.
Wow.
It goes, I'm a firm believer that in order for a man to experience growth, he must go through grief. And in order for that to be learned, you have to see that you're not alone with that. Because a lot of times men, we will sit in our grief and we will think that that is just it. And we'll grow and grow and grow, but we're a callous growth. So we don't change our thought process. We don't allow those thoughts to flow through us and handle our emotional state in a very healthy way.
Okay.
So I say that to say, in 2021, I had it was a very, very sad situation where I witnessed someone die for the first time. And it was a shooting that had taken place. Unfortunately, it was on my campus, but it wasn't any of the students or any of the alumni that did the shooting. It was people from the outside community coming in. Wow. And they chose our homecoming as their battleground. Wow. And I remember distinctly, like I'm standing on my plot with my brothers and my sisters, and I hear arguments in the distance, and I'm like, nah, this can't be, not here.
Right.
Now, don't get me wrong, I was already in the homecoming mood, so I'm a little, I'm not even in the right mind.
Right.
But I heard gunshots, and so what I knew, I've heard gunshots before.
Right.
So I know when you hear the first shot, you don't move immediately. You need to hear the direction that it's coming from, so that way you know where to run, so you don't get hit. So we're waiting, but then we hear a barrage of shots that follow.
Wow.
And now we're realizing this is a gunfight rather than just a one-base shooting.
Right.
So I'm running, I'm taking off. I'm trying to get to safety, trying to get myself covered.
Okay.
And after this happens, we're like, okay, well, what's going on? I see somebody running with me with a red hoodie, and I'm thinking, okay, he's safe too. I'm not realizing that he is falling behind me because he's the one shooting back.
Oh, man.
So I hop over the hood of a car, I pull my feet in, I'm waiting, but I'm also paralyzed because I'm like, I don't know where to go. Like, my car is all the way on the other side of campus.
Okay.
How do I get there without getting hit blind fire?
Wow.
I look over the back of the car, and the young man that had the hoodie on is laying in the street.
Mm.
And then come to find out, the shots that I heard so close were because they were shooting back at him. There were 2 distinct shots that had happened.
Okay.
That I knew whizzed past. And I'm like, I could have been me.
Yes.
And I'm seeing him once full of energy, full of life.
Yes.
Lifeless.
And
that understandably bothered me.
Okay.
So I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to go about this. I ended up going home. Okay. Like, I didn't even stay for the rest of the semester. Like, I went home. I went to work. My parents are still trying to, comfort me throughout the time. They're trying to make sure I'm good. And I was not working in the way that I normally would.
Okay.
And so my mother, she's a counselor. She said, son, I can get you therapy. I can get you to a counselor. But I know how you express yourself. I need you to write out what happened. I need you to put this down on paper so that way you at least don't have to relive it in your mind. I need you to put it out. And so I wrote a poem called Moretti's Story. And because I kept telling her, like, the day wasn't even that bad. Like we had won the game, man. I was on the grill the whole day.
Yeah.
I'm having fun with my brothers and sisters. Everybody is having a blast. Nobody was complaining about the chicken. Like, it was a great day.
Right.
And then that happened.
Okay.
And I struggled so much with getting to the mindset of, what do I do now?
Okay.
So she had me write it out, and I called it Moretti's Story because, like, my school, we had this weird thing where, like, you would, at homecoming, you wouldn't introduce yourself as your name.
Okay.
You would introduce yourself as a different name from a different school.
Right.
So that way, if you talk to an alumni, they'd be like, oh, well, let me tell you about good old Grambling. So I was Antonio Victor Moretti from Langston University.
Okay.
Therefore, I said it wasn't me that witnessed the shooting.
Okay.
It was Antonio Moretti.
Okay. Right.
So it's called Moretti's Story.
Okay.
And I wrote that poem, and then I wrote another one, and another one, and another one.
Wow.
And then I realized I had another book.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, I can either keep this for myself, or I can actually put this out and give it to where people can look and they can think, okay, this is what I can do. So I can deal with what's inside of me.
Right.
So the book follows the stream of thought of, like, how, guys will think about trivial thoughts, like, oh, we think of girls, we think of this, oh man, I'm broke, what do I do? Like, we think about that, then it goes to the grief.
Okay.
And then it focuses on the inside. What do you need to change? What do you need to do moving forward?
Right.
And how can you become a better man by addressing the things on the inside?
Okay.
So there's a lot that takes place in there, and I pay homage to a lot of those who have helped me out over the years.
Okay.
But that book, I'm not choosing between my kids.
Right.
But if I said any of the books served a purpose in moving something forward or getting someone to think differently, it's that one. That one's called The Legal Thoughts, the Thoughts of the 21-Year-Old Man.
Okay. Wow. Powerful, man. You accomplished so much before, 21 years old, 2 books, entrepreneur. Obviously, your parents are entrepreneurs and provided a phenomenal structure for your growth. They created a future leader of today. Awesome, man. What we're gonna do? We're gonna go to a commercial break because we're gonna talk more about your story. I like the direction that we're going. We gotta make sure that our sponsors are recognized. You guys stay tuned. We got Adrian Consonery Jr. The Italian guy. The black Italian guy. Candidate for Georgia Secretary of State. You guys stay tuned. Game Changers Magazine, Game Changers Media Network, Voices of the Village podcast, where change starts with conversation.
Just say